Hello, hello, beautiful souls. I'm Esther, also known as Schmexy Pants. Welcome to my channel. So, this is going to be a very different type of video than any of the stuff that's normally on my channel, and it's because I wanted to post an honest review of a device that I've been using since January that might be a good resource for some. And if you've seen the title and you're looking through YouTube search features to find out if the Apollo wearable is right for you, hopefully this video will help shed some light. So the Apollo wearable, it's a device that sends small electrical impulses to your brain that's supposed to help with things like sleep, increasing heart rate variability, which helps with resilience, and just basically signaling safety to the body. It was developed, I believe, by two people, a neuroscientist and a psychotherapist, basically working with patients who had issues such as post-traumatic stress disorder using psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. So stuff like MDMA and psilocybin to help kind of, again, signal safety, help with sleep. And so I had been looking at these types of devices from October 2022 onward because I am somebody who is healing from complex post-traumatic stress, and it can be very challenging for me not to be hypervigilant, not to be constantly aware of my surroundings, having to really tell my body that I'm safe when I'm not in danger. And I mean, if you know me, you know I have a very strong meditation practice. I do go regularly for therapy. I've leaned really deeply into my spiritual journey, and that has helped significantly. However, in times of transition, it's always good to have a couple extra resources, especially for me. Sleep is great. It's important. I don't get enough of it. Most people, in our world right now don't get enough sleep. So I had been investigating it. So what stopped me in October from buying any of these devices is I'm in Canada, and so these types of things have some pretty hefty price tags on them, and then factoring in shipping, exchange, and customs, it gets up there. However, at the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, there were a whole bunch of different transitions that I was going through, changing therapist, getting really sick with a sinus infection right at the beginning of the year, just some different things going on in my personal life and interpersonal relationships that were causing me extra stress, especially in that gap period where I was looking for a new therapist. So I decided to take the plunge and get this device because it seemed well backed by science and that it had a lot of really great reviews. Now, I want to say about great reviews, if you go looking for the Apollo wearable, you'll find people who absolutely love this, and you'll find people who absolutely hate this. And so I think that it's good to keep in mind that with anything at all, people will tell you how great it is or how terrible it is. That goes for meditation, that goes for therapy, medications of different sorts. It's a very personal thing. However, I did like some of the research papers that I was reading and some of the questions that were answered on the Apollo Neuro website. So I decided to get it, and I found it very helpful. So when you're ordering your Apollo Neuro, you have a choice for the base color of this actual device, the band that you want to get. It comes with either small, medium, or large. I have a medium. I usually wear this on my ankle, so I probably should have gotten a large, but for my wrist, it's like tiny. And then it also comes with a clip. The company basically suggests that you wear it somewhere kind of bony so that you can feel the pulses. And it also comes with a charge cord, which a little bit of a con for me is that it doesn't come with an adapter. However, being a USB, most people have like an old phone adapter or something for the wall, or a device that they can plug it into like a computer. So not the end of the world. So the device, I usually wear it on my ankle, but just so that you can see, I put it on my wrist sometimes facing inwards. Again, you just want to wear it somewhere bony so that you'll feel the pulses. There's two buttons on top, one that has like a little nub and one that's flat. To start the device, you can do it with your phone with Bluetooth or remotely. You can just press the two together. It'll start playing the last cycle that was playing. To lower the pulses, you press the flat one. To raise the pulses, you press the bumpy one, and you can stop it the same way that you've started it. Through the app, you would turn on your Bluetooth, go into the Apollo app, and you'll find different programs. And what I really like about the programs is there's a little description for each one of what it helps with. You can choose your time and you can press play that way. And you can also change the pulse intensity that way. So I'm going to turn that off for a second. Okay, so basically what they suggest on the website, and it comes with like a little information book inside, is that you want to put it on so that you feel it, but so that it's not distracting. There's no benefit in putting it on super high. And you want to be wearing it for at least 3-ish hours a day, 5 days a week, to see the most benefit out of it. The more you wear it, the better it will help with different things that it promises that it will help with. And, you know, typically it's like you want to wear it for 90 minutes during the day and 90 minutes at night to help with sleep. So for me, I don't have anything that measures my heart rate variability, and the device itself doesn't measure that. If you had something like an Oura Ring or I forget what the Heart Math Institute's device is called, that can help you tell whether your heart rate variability has increased, which again helps you with resilience. It increases your window of tolerance so that your emotions can stay like this in times of heavy activation as opposed to like this. It basically widens your window of tolerance from there to there, depending on how much you use it. So that I can't say. I will say that I have felt a little bit less hypervigilant while using it in times of activation. Now, whether that has been placebo effect of me just having a focal point to notice with it vibrating, or if it's actually doing what it's supposed to do after, you know, several months of use, I don't know. Personally, I don't really care. It helps. So, you know, if it helps, it helps. It's great. You know, when you're activated, it's very hard to get back into the body. Even if you're like me, you have a really good grounding and meditation exercise. So anything that helps for me is like a huge win. In terms of if it's helped me sleep, I really don't know. I don't think so. For me, I have a lot of different sleep issues. That's something I've struggled with since early childhood. So if it has helped there, it's been negligible, but I know many, 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 many people online say that it's absolutely wonderful for that. The interesting thing for me is I find that it helps me wake up in the morning. Because I have my sleep issues, I find that morning is very hard, even with a cup of coffee sometimes. And so the energy mode, I find that I use, it's the maximum you can set that one through the app is 30 minutes. I usually do 2 cycles of that in the morning, and it helps me, you know, either abstain from my second cup of coffee or have it later in the day, which for me, again, huge win. I also really like the calm mode and the focus modes, especially when I'm trying to get work done or have to be on Zoom for a long time. I have a lot of Zoom fatigue, which I'm sure many people since 2020 have had that as well. So it helps me to stay a little bit more focused and on task when I have to be on Zoom, which has been fantastic. So the pros for me, helps me wake up, is pretty discreet, especially when I wear it on my ankle. Nobody would know. Convenient and non-invasive, and you know, just a really good little thing. The battery life is about a day, which is kind of so-so, but it charges really fast. That's been really fantastic for me. I also like seeing the progress, which the app we'll get into in a second. So the cons, the cost, which I've mentioned before. Also, the device itself is pretty clunky. I know you can wear it with the clip, but it's kind of clunky. And then the other piece of the con and the pro is unfortunately the app. So when you buy your Apollo wearable, you have free access to most of the app. And most of the app is all you really need, in my opinion. So basically, you open up the app and you have your different settings. You also can see some of your progress, how much sleep you've earned theoretically from how much use, and then your daily usage. And this is where I get frustrated with the app, because if you can see here, it says that most days I've used it for fewer than 2 hours, and that's actually not true. I find that the app is very basic, doesn't track things like HRV, which I feel like for the price tag it would be helpful if it did. And then they've introduced a new program to stay asleep that theoretically with firmware updates would kind of tell you what you need, and it would just have the device automatically start. But it's a pretty hefty price tag, which the main reason I don't want to try it is because the rest of the app has kind of fallen short for me, because again, it's not really accurately tracking. It has a bunch of badges that you can earn, but it's, again, like the technology for the app itself is less than what a Fitbit was like 5 years ago. So, you know, not really my favorite app, not the most functional. I've never used this, but the app does have the bonus of you can schedule which times that you want to use which program. Again, great in theory, and they do often do firmware updates, which has been helpful. However, I don't know, I find that the app just falls short, which wouldn't bother me so much if the, yeah, if it was either was not so expensive or not so buggy. So that's a big factor if you're somebody who's really into that. Again, like you can use it with an Oura Ring or something else to see the heart rate variability. But what's really interesting for me, and this is just kind of as an aside, is I wonder if this technology in 5 years will just be like in smart watches. So would I buy this Apollo Neuro again? Yes, I use it every day. I like it. The battery life could be improved, the design could be improved. But that being said, it was worth the investment. I don't think that it could necessarily fully, for most people, especially with like any ongoing things that they need to work through in therapy, get them away from therapy. I think it's really nice to use in concert. Same, depending on what medications you're on, it might be able to help you reduce or eliminate. It really is such a personal thing. It depends where you're on with your journey, what other resources you have. But I do think that, you know, as a non-invasive thing to try to complement that, to help with focus, it is a good investment for me. I think that they do sell some used ones if you want on their website. This is not sponsored. I will say they also seem to have sales, usually like $50 off pretty frequently, which, you know, in the grand scheme of thing, no, it's not that much, but also like it does help. So yeah, do you use a device something similar to this? Would you consider investing something like this? Let me know in the comments, and I hope that this was helpful for somebody and that you have a beautiful day.